It feels good. It feels real good to have a family that you can depend on. Not just family of relatives, but a family of dedicated artists. True lyrical MCs from all walks of life, even as far as the UK. Truly a blessing when you put out a call after all these years, and with no hesitation, your fam say, I got you, Ern. Pa Bundy, Mars Adams, Rod Mental Moon Adams, Easy Digital, Solid Dollar, Third Degree, Howard Bronson, Plague On, UK Jabbar, Trial, Divine Strength, Verbal War, J Lock, Chris White, Chris Houston, and Voltron the Destroyer. A true testimony to hard work and perseverance. I didn't know at first, but now it's crystal clear. This album generates a nuclear force, the force of hip-hop energy, the new, clear fam. What y'all just heard there was the intro track to my man Ern-Money's new album. It's called Nuclear Fam. And some people call him the legendary, some people call him the architect. To me, he's just a good old friend. So let's welcome Mr. Ern-Money. What's up, Ern? How you feeling, man?
What's up, E? E Hood.
Ooh, it's a pleasure, man. It is a pleasure to be able to interview you, man.
Vice versa, likewise, brother.
Yeah. Long time coming, man. We've been good friends, man. So, like the other day, I think something popped up on Facebook saying that we've been friends for like 7 years, at least on Facebook, and that made me think back to how long we've actually been friends, and I was like, man, that's almost about 30 years, man. Can you believe that?
We've been around the galaxy a couple of years, E. And the beauty of it is we still going strong and ain't skipped a beat. So
yeah, a lot of these kids haven't even been living for 30 years, but that just shows how long we've been doing this music thing.
Right. Seeing people come and go, seeing things change for the best and for the worst,
Yeah, no doubt, man. I remember when I first moved down to North Carolina, I was just now starting to get into production and beats. And I met this guy named Blunt.
Right.
And Blunt was working with you.
Right.
Blunt brought me down because he said, why don't I bring you down to Ern-Money's house? He has a studio and everything. And at that time, I didn't really have like real equipment or anything. I was using 2 tape decks and recording back and forth. And I said, I know this is not how they record in the big time studios. So Blunt said, hey, let me take you down to Ern's house. Ern has a pretty nice setup. So so he brought me down, and that's when we had met. And I said, man, how are you getting that nice, clean sound you're using? And Ern said, well, let me introduce you to the 4-track. You take the story from here, man. I like how you say it from here.
Well, I just remember, you stood over my shoulder. You was like, you said, so let me get this straight. You using that to record that with it. And I said, yeah. And you said, okay, I'll be back. And and next thing I knew, E Hood was rocking. And we recorded Brotherhood, that first encounter too, didn't we? Or was that?
Yeah, one of my tracks. I had already knew what I wanted to do. And I said, well, let me test it out on your 4-track, see exactly what it could do. And then once I saw what you did with that 4-track, I said, I got to get me one.
Right. Exactly. So that was a blessing to have you, for Blunt to bring you into my life, because I needed someone to keep the flame going, the fuel.
So, Ern, why don't you tell everybody, man, where were you born? Where were you raised at?
Born originally in Manhattan, New York, at New York City Hospital, and you know, went to school at PS 96 and then PS 50. And around 1981, my folks decided to travel to North Carolina to be closer to their parents. And around, um, I say at the age of 12, that's when we relocated and moved to North Carolina. And ever since then, I've been a North Carolinian, throughout the rest of my adult life. So
Right.
I'm I'm a North Carolinian with a New York swag.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So, Earn Money's the name, and I love your name because it reflects the beginnings of hip hop, even up to now. Because I'm seeing people who have the name something money or earn something. So your name is standing the test of time through the different years.
Right.
How did you come up with that name?
Well, my brother actually back in the day, I used to go by the name of a DJ Ern and Ernie G and whatnot. And one day, I was about to DJ for an event. And my brother was, he Big Will, the Juggernaut. He was a freestyler, and I would play my beats and whatnot. And he would freestyle. And one day he was rhyming, trying to hype us up. He's like, DJ Ern, play that beat. So he's rhyming and whatnot. Then all of a sudden, and at the end of his rhyme, he go, "What we gonna do? What we gonna do, Ern? What we gonna do, Ern? We gonna earn money." And he kept saying, "Earn money, earn money." And he said, "That's your name." And from then, I was like, "Wait a minute." He called me Earn Money, and I've been Earn Money ever since.
Yo, that's dope, man. That's dope. Your brother gave you that name. I never knew that.
Yep, the
I never knew
Juggernaut.
that.
And he said he want 50% of everything I got.
Hey, look, when Juggernaut tells you that you do something, you do it. I learned that a long time ago. Oh
We
man.
won't. We'll keep that for another second.
So you kind of talked about you and your brother performing and working together. So how did you initially start getting into production and DJing?
Well, I started out basically. I didn't have turntables. I had a tape recorder. And I used to play around with the tape recorders and create my own mixes with the pause button. And and that started the whole wheel with timing, uh, uh, um, cutting and blending, and just from there, I never liked rhyming over other people instrumentals. Other rappers will just rhyme, play Run DMC, play LL Cool J instrumental, and just rap. I always said I wanted my own sounds, but I never had it. So what I would do was try to get creative and use the pause button and blend, make my own blend of mixes. And from there, it gave me the whole timing act. And so uh, somewhere along the line, my parents decided to buy me a drum machine, and they bought me this drum machine with four pads. It was called the Sonic drum,
Mm.
and we used to call it back in the day the pots and pans, because that's literally what it sounded like when you program.
I had that. I actually had that.
Right. But it was cool for back then. And once I got the drum machine, it hit me to uh, um, timing and programming and playing patterns and different playing around. So I got into the notion of beat making, and then I got my hands on a little keyboard, the realistic keyboard that had a dog sound on it and a sample, just
Wow.
one sample for like 2 seconds. And within that 2 seconds, I would sample from the speaker and get sounds and play it along with the drum machine. So that gave me the whole opened me up to the idea of putting music together. And then when I um, got a little bit more advanced, I had a friend of mine's named Amazon Don, rest in peace.
Mm.
His sister had a keyboard that had four little sample pads, so it was a little more advanced, almost like the in the movie with Terrence Howard, Hustle and Flow. He that same
Yeah.
keyboard.
I,
So when I
I think that wasn't that the Casio. Is that the Casio SK? I think the first one was with the one pad was like the Casio SK1, and then the four
Right,
pads was the
right.
SK4.
That's right. That's right. So I asked him to ask his sister if I could get it, and she said, "Well, what y'all gonna do with it?" And we said, "We doing music." And she said, "Okay." So she gave it to me, and that just opened my world up to a whole another plateau of sampling. And then when I got my hands on a 4-track machine, and then another drum machine, Dr. Rhythm, a 550, then it got bonkers from there. So, and that's when I started getting more, and that's when I met you too. We started getting more advanced, more experimental, more serious, and our sound just opened up. You throw a 4-track, more samples, keyboard, microphones, effects. We was killing it.
Yeah.
So,
No more of that tape deck going back and forth, losing quality every time you recorded something new on there. Woo.
but but I appreciate that because it was like boot camp,
Yeah,
and it made you hone in on your craft. You didn't have a machine to correct your mistakes.
that's true.
You didn't have a restart button. You had to understand the timing mechanism all throughout the song,
Yeah.
and stuff you had to start all the way back over to the beginning.
Yeah, if you got
So
all the way to the end and messed up, man, you're like, oh man, we gotta. Sorry guys, we gotta do this whole song over again.
if the song was 3 minutes and 40 seconds, you had to start over 3 minutes and 40 seconds all over again.
No
It's no
doubt,
sliding, no mouse button, no copy and pasting. So
no doubt. So, you're originally from New York,
yeah,
um, moved down to North Carolina.
that's right.
A big thing in hip hop is people like where they're from kind of influences their sound. New York has their sound. L.A. California has their sound, and then down North Carolina, Atlanta, they have their sound. Do you think that where you're from kind of influences your sound? Like first coming from New York, now being in North Carolina, do you think where you're at's influence your music,
Yeah,
the way it sounds,
per-
influenced by that?
it- it's a combination. Of course, being in New York, I developed my aesthetics with hip hop. You know, with from b-boying, graffiti, uh, 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 turntable, mixing, just that whole scene, that era. So I understand original. I understand being fresh. I understand being ill, and being from the South, it kind of made me lay back. It kind of gave me the opportunity to get in tune to myself, to nature, and definitely to the southern ways. And I always felt like once I came down here, it felt like in the South we had a little bit more to prove when it came to hip hop. So I had that spirit of the South in me, like yeah, we got something to prove.
Yeah,
Even though I was in New York, and that's why I think the South is kind of you know dominating the music scene as much as they are now
yeah,
because they always had that edge to where we're gonna gain our respect. We're gonna be heard. We're gonna be acknowledged because there was a time where the South wasn't even considered. So I believe some of that, the Southern hospitality. I'm urban b-boy with a Southern hospitality mixed in swag.
yeah. It's really good to see North Carolina doing well, doing good in hip hop now with so many people coming out. You have Rhapsody coming out, Ern-Money, you're coming out,
Right.
um, J. Cole.
Yeah,
You got some big time artists. Because there was a while that even though when the South came out, it was more like Atlanta.
right.
You were getting, I think, some people from like Memphis. I forgot what those guys are named from Tennessee.
MJG and A.
MJG, yeah, and all of them. But it was even though there was some quality North Carolina artists,
Right.
you really didn't see them in the mix unless it was like what was the boy PD Pablo? I think
Petey Pablo,
yeah,
and
and
I
he
even
and
back
even
as Yak Fu Front.
yeah, who front, yeah, no doubt. But there were so many other MCs that had true lyrical skills. But it's good to see that North Carolina's doing that right now.
Exactly. And it's been a long time coming, but I think for years we've honed our craft, and even though you got different styles and techniques from trap music, but it's still spitters down here. There's still, Rhapsody is proof of that. Little Brother is proof of that. Superstition is proof of that. So cats are aware that we got some spitters down here, and we come prepared. And so and then we've been taking note.
No doubt. Yeah, I've been seeing, man. I was down there. There's been plenty of battles. I've seen some really nice cats spitting, and I'm glad to see now, Money. You got this project, and it's now coming out so people can hear. So let's get into it.
Okay.
The new
All right.
project is called Nuclear Fam. Let's start off by special guest. This is kind of like a compilation album, I think.
All right.
That's what it is. So why don't you tell us, who do you have on the album?
Okay. Well, it's the start. This album has 16 cats on it. 16 cats that I reached out to, that I felt like was a good representation of what I'm doing, and that's been down with me for a period of time. And right off the back, Pop Bundy, and this guy, if you're not familiar with the name, industry certified. He's done tracks for Jadakiss, The Locks, Fabulous and Jada collaboration, Master Ace, and a slew of other artists. And another cat I got up here that works with General Steel from Smith and Wesson, Mars Adams, and his wife, Aura Mental Moon Adams, and incredible producer and rapper. I got him spitting on a couple of tracks. I got my man Solid Dollar. He's done some work with Keisha Cole, incredible producer and MC as well. This dude from overseas, from the United Kingdom, Easy Digital. I asked him to be up here. He came along and lent his services. Um, I got Third, one of Howard Bronson boys from Greenville, North Carolina. I got Plague On. Plague On is this cat from Kingston. He got an ill album out called The Death Star. Working on some heavy stuff. This cat's been down with me for day one. And to give you a little history, I'm the godfather of his daughter. So Plague On,
Cool.
he's definitely certified UK Jabbar. Cat coming from Baltimore, one of my homies, running partners since back in the day. For cats that's been following me with the camouflage. He pretty much spearheaded a lot of that. And camouflage is the CD I put out about 10 years ago. And when Jabbar came to me, that group kind of dismantled, but he still had that spirit. So when he got into position, we just kept working, and I definitely had to include him. And he got an album out that I helped produce called Islam Part 2. So keep your eye on UK Jabbar, my man. And these are like immediate fam, like Trial, uh, Divine Strength, Verbal War. Me and him went to college. And then the spiritual aspect of the album was J Lock, Chris White, Chris Houston, and then I had one new cat that slid in. Like I just met him, but we instantly clicked, instantly, and I had a slot open, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna see what this guy's about, and see what he could do, and he just came through with a clutch. So I got an honorary member of the Nuclear Fam, and that's Voltron the Destroyer.
Mm.
And you'll hear more about him in the future.
Cool. Man, so Poppin' is the first full-length track on the album after the intro.
Right.
And that features Pav Bundy on there.
Uh,
Pav
mhm.
Bundy, yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of his work, man.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
dope, man.
yeah.
The stuff I heard him do on Master Ace's album.
Right. And EMC,
Yeah.
the through EMC. So, I've been following him, and I've been knowing him for years, even before he started doing industry stuff. And
Wow.
we never met. We never met. We always worked with mutual cats. And and I would hear his stuff. You know, my man Divine Strength would let me hear a Pav, and I go, wow. And at the time, his name was Pavarotti, and I remember his production was a little more digital. It was more musical and crisp, and it had a sharpness to it. And I was like, wow. I'm thinking me and you, Eve, was the only ones around here, you know, that was killing it. And then I meet pop, hear pop music, and he just stood out to me. Then I hear him rap, and lyrically, he was a beast. He was a beast. I was more impressed with his lyrics, and I couldn't believe that a producer that nice can still produce that type of lyrical level. That's what I pride myself off of, being able to write, be it spit, and at the same time, you know, produce just as well as I rhyme. And
Yeah.
pop is my equivalent. So later down the line, we finally encountered and found out who we were. It was an instant click. He was like,
Right.
"You earn money." I was like, "You Pop Money." He was like, "Yeah, I produce for Jadakiss." I'm like, "What?" So so from then on, when I was putting it together this project, you know, I was thinking of some people to be a part of it. And I said, you know, Pa's probably busy, but I'm gonna shoot him out and see if he wanna contribute. So I said, Pa, I said, yo, man, I got this project. I said, I was thinking. He said, word. He said, you send me the beat. I sent him the beat. He said, send me the whole file. I'm on it. And that the rest was history. And he killed it the first try.
Man.
The first.
Yeah, it sounds real natural, man. I was listening to the beat and how he's rapping to it. It's kind of like a you know, like a playful type of beat, and you got like some nice drum fills going on in there.
Right.
So did you make that beat specifically for him?
What? No, actually, that was a beat I already created, and matter of fact, that was a beat that I created for Trial, and but Trial never did nothing with it. So when I started up this album, I said I'm gonna look on the back table for ideas that I have and see what I felt I wanted to put on this project, and I heard that beat, and I had to check it off with Trial. I said, hey, you know that beat, uh you doing anything with it? And he said, nah. He said, you could have it. I said, cool. So I took the beat, you know, that I created for him that he wasn't going to use and put it on the project. But as soon as I heard it and thought about it, I said, instantly, Pop Bundy. So
No doubt.
thanks to Trial, I was able to manifest that beat for Pop.
Now, most of the artists that are on the project, I've heard a lot of their stuff, but Third Degree and Solid Dollar were two that I hadn't heard before, and I was really impressed with what they brought to the table, man. So, what was it like working with them? What's their process like? You know, recording and being in the studio.
Real professional, seasoned, didn't have to tell them too much, and just they instantly accommodated what I was trying to do. And you know, Zev was such a thorough person. He's now in California, and when I had the project, we had some problems doing it, you know, over line. So he said, Ern, I'll just fly back home, and we could do it in December. I said, no doubt. So I made allowances for him to come back. And as soon as he came back, before he met his family, he stopped here and recorded his verse and kept getting up. And he nailed his verse, one and done, right then and there.
And
And I
that was
remember
who, Ern? Sorry, who that?
that was third.
Third. Okay.
And on the song One and Done with Plague On. And I just remember specifically, Third was making sure, he said, because I know your boy Plague On, you know, he ain't no slouch when it comes to lyrics. He said he ain't gonna Eminem me on this track. So I said no doubt. And so he knew he had to come sharp. Cause Plague On, chop your head off if you don't. Uh, and Sala is just so seasoned, and he got a very commanding voice, lyrical prowess that just you hear professionalism as soon as you hear him open up his mouth, and everyone is just shocked that we gel that well together, and he's never even rhymed on a production of mine. But
Mm.
I attribute that to being dedicated. You know, both of us moving in the same parallel way when it comes to hip hop. So converging was a piece of cake.
Right.
You know, combining the chemistry was already put in place. So
Nice, nice, nice. So when I first heard the project, I was actually in the gym. The gym is a place where I really like to, listen to new music, because
right,
I'm always looking for something that helps me get through my workout. Also,
getting pumped.
right, right. And then there's a song called "Hard Work."
All
Hard work pays off, actually. And
right,
that one, man, it's like hard hitting, and the lyrics is real
right.
ill.
Kind
And
of rugged.
yeah, yeah, and I was like, that was good, because I think I was doing maybe like the bench press or something, and I
Right.
needed to get through, like 2 or 3 more reps.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, hard work pays off. So I'm thinking about that as I'm trying to get through the track. Um, is that a title that you came up with? Like, is that kind of like an earn money motto or something?
Well, believe it or not, all the titles on the album, except for maybe one that I was on, the artist came up with. And when I send them the beat, I would tell them, "Hey, you got free reign. Whatever concept come to mind, that's what concept we'll ride
Okay.
on." So, hard work paid off. That was my man, Verbal War from Raleigh, a cat I went to college with. That was his concept. Soon
Okay.
as the beat, he wrote a rhyme and titled it. And I said, "Hey, what's the title?" He said, "Hard work paid off." I said, "That's what's up." And then from there, I would tell anybody else that was featuring on the song what the title was. You know, from Proud to Voltron the Destroyer, and they would vibe on that same concept. And then once I heard everybody verses, it was up to me to bring them ideas together to make it sound cohesive. So they
Nice.
didn't even know what it was going to sound like until I put my mojo on
Oh, okay. All right.
it.
Cool. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and listen to um maybe like a snippet. Is that okay with you, Ern? We're going to do like maybe a snippet of "Hard Work Pays Off."
Oh,
Sounds good?
definitely, definitely. I would love for the people to hear what I'm doing.
Cool.
Cut on the console, fire up the preamp. Don't mumble, my nigga, pack up and leave camp. Countdown to blast off berserk. Asphalt hard, the pen work. Broadcasting live from behind the 8 ball. Strive to arrive on time, can't be late for y'all. Cause the listener demand the call be met with the eagerness to blow the spot for all. Time to go to work. New flavor for ears without peer shine, a full millennium light year. Redesign the mind of the crooked and cavalier with the rare vintage mint condition, the souvenir. Like the spinach, if you got it, put it up in the air. While I kill a village with the privilege of pioneers. Niggas look, curtain jerk, mics to flirt, huh? Meanwhile, I pick the bitch up and get to work.
I lost friends and gained enemies, nigga. How you pouring 40s to memories, cause you ain't worth the Hennessy, nigga. Yeah. Build or I'm killing you, nigga. Smoke his ass like a 3-story chimney, that's that trilogy, nigga. Talking ill, I got the remedy, nigga. Put him down like a dog, got his motherfucking misery, nigga. The song got me dizzy now, whipping my nigga. That hard work paid off, all 50s, my nigga.
Hard work pays off, ignorance cost. Can't make money, always taking a loss. Can't save money, always giving your last. Change don't come by repeating the past. Nick shall inherit, first shall be last. Is that not karma for your ass? New day, new year, get it clear, fam. NC, no mistake, earn money to command. You either are or you not.
Yeah, hard work pays off, man. Like I say, that gets me through the gym, man. No doubt, no doubt. That's one of my favorites. So, what was some of the studio equipment that you use for the new project, Nuclear Fam?
Okay. Well, basically, I'm using the same equipment that I had 10 years ago. I'm using what they call outboard equipment, not a whole lot of software. I got the SP Granddaddy U SP 1200. The
Classic,
a
classic.
right. The Kai S2000, and I'm using software to record old model Adobe Audition. And I got one piece of equipment that I started sprinkling some few sounds, more updated equipment, the Roland Phantom G6. workstation. So but the bulk of the whole album was just the SP and the Akai S2000.
Yeah, that's great, man, because I I like that you're using some real classic pieces of equipment, and it goes to show you can make good music on anything.
Right.
Um,
Amen.
the most popular things out now, especially for hip hop recording, and you'll see the Machine and Ableton Push, and
Hmm.
people recording on Pro Tools and Logic
Right.
and different softwares. And listening to this album, like I can't tell what you're recording on. You know,
Right.
I I don't know if it's an SP12 or whatnot. All I know is that it's quality production,
Right. Right.
quality lyrics, great mix down and everything. So that goes to show you, it's not about the equipment. It's about what you have in your heart and what type of talent you
Right.
have.
That's right. I read a meme in a beat club where someone posted up, it ain't the gear, it's your ear. And that's pretty much sums up how I produce. My ear dictates my sound, and I don't really rely on the equipment. I rely on my ear as a DJ. I know what sounds good. I know what works together, and you know that's what makes the SP in Akai pop.
Right, right. Now
Hmm.
the album cover, you also did that as well. You did the production, you did some rapping on the album, you did the mixing and everything, right? And you also did the album cover graphics
That's
as well.
hmm yeah.
Can you tell us what the meaning is behind the album cover here?
Okay. The name of the album is The Nuclear Fam, and I had that concept before I knew what the album cover was going to look like. And one day I was just browsing the internet, and I was on some site, and they were actually showing old pictures from back in the day, and I came across this picture of a family sitting on a couch, looking out the window, and peering at an actual nuclear blast
Mm.
from the seat of their own home. And the author or whoever wrote the article titled it "The Nuclear Family," and I was like, oh, I said, what a coincidence. I said, wow, but I didn't think nothing of it, so I closed out of it. But then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute, that's a direct correlation with what I'm doing. I said, how? I said, it's almost divine that I came across it. And I said, even though um, it's in black and white, and of course, we're in the future, it's dealing with actual nuclear bomb. And of course, I'm spelled nuclear as in transparent. But it almost like we transcended time, and our ideas and the symbolism merged. So I said, whoa. I said, that's almost, that's a no-brainer. That has to go with this. So that was the whole concept, and I try not to obliterate any of the photo. I left it intact as much as possible, but that's the whole idea with that. It's symbolic, and it supposed to reach over reach across time, and they are actually, we're so explosive, they could see us from the past, and we could see them from the future. So
I tell you, man, when you deal with Ern-Money, man, you get deep. It's much
right.
more. It's not just surface type stuff you giving them, man. It's a lot deeper meaning, and everything you do. From ever since I've been listening to your music and looking at your artwork and things, it's I know it's always a deeper meaning than just what's on the outside.
Right. I try to dig a little deeper with meaning, not to be over people's heads, but not to be so obvious as well, and give people somewhat a discovery or something, or a twist on something. Like, even the name Earn Money, Earn Money is a double meaning. It's earn is me, and earning is gaining from services, and you earning money, you doing it, you deserve it. So, the name has a lot of significance. That I've been analytical since I was a kid, so that's just in my DNA.
Right, right. Now, getting to some of the production of the album, one of the things that you've always been good at doing is taking samples of like other artists saying things. If the name of the title was "Yeah," you'll find like 4 or 5 different artists that are saying "Yeah," and I was always amazed at how you're able to go ahead and find that. I think I was looking at a video by Static Selector,
Hmm.
and he was trying to find somebody saying the title of his track, and he just went to Google and looked it up and found
Right.
it real quick. I
Wow.
said, but I know you've been doing this years and years ago before people were even
Sure.
looking at Google. So I know
Right.
you have a different process. To tell us about how your process about going finding those different type of things.
Well, I was Google first of all. When I wanted when I wanted to dig, I had to dig up here, and what I did was just a Rolodex of songs I would scroll in my mind that I'd heard or was familiar rise with that word. And a lot of times, it would come to me. Sometimes I would just have to research and dig till I found it. Get perfect example. I remember you had a song called uh, uh Last Breath, something
Life's last breath.
Life Last Breath.
Yeah.
You said, Aaron, come up with a sample for me. I said, okay. I said, I'll work on it. And I didn't think of nothing right then, but I went to sleep on it. And in my sleep, I heard Scarface had a song. It popped in my head in my sleep. He said, he took his breath, and I knew it was his last breath, something like that. And I woke up out of my sleep, no joke. And I said, wow. I said, let me find that. I think that's what he said. I found the tape, and sure enough, that's what he said.
Oh my
But
gosh.
see,
I would have never remembered that, man. That's a gift, man.
right,
That's a gift.
right. So, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I have to, dig till I find it. Sometimes I can remember the wrong thing. Like I think they said, oh, they said one in this, and I find it, and they go done, done, done. I go, oh, I thought you said one. It rhymes with one. So, but if you do it enough times, if you're a student like I am, and I really listen to the lyrics, that just shows I'm not a passive listener. I'm actually an active listener. I listen to the words that stick, almost like a conversation. You recall what people say to you. So, that's my gift. I recall what rappers say to me when I'm listening to them, based on the title and whatnot.
Right.
So that's how that worked.
Cool. Cool. And there's a song that you have on there called Uproar. Uproar kind of got my attention. It kind of talks about the injustices that African Americans go through. And,
Right.
That's a common thing that's going on with a lot of rappers are talking about and actually not a lot of them. I wish more would.
Right.
Um, but I'm glad you guys tackled that subject. Actually, Trial has a line in there that I really like.
Mhm.
And he says, fight for what we love with strength from up above.
Um,
And,
yeah.
He's basically saying, it's okay. Fight for what you believe is right,
Right.
And, if it's definitely something right, God will give you the strength
That's
to
right.
be able to take on whatever enemies that you're taking on. And,
That's
through that, you can go ahead and get through what you're going through.
that's right.
As this is something that, we're continually going through, African Americans in this country.
Right.
What effect do you think Uproar will have on African Americans, or what are you hoping that this song will be able to help African Americans with?
Well, basically for African Americans to reclaim their history, uh, reclaim themselves, reclaim their lives, and just to stand up to injustices, to be conscientious of what's going on, be prepared, be on your toes, And you know, just like with Stephon Clark being killed in his grandmother's backyard here recently, you know, it's still going on. So it's getting to the point where something has to be done. And I don't know what that exactly is, but I know I'm gonna be ready for whatever. And it's almost as if the world is talking. The world's talking, the world's watching, and they seeing what's going on. So we're not the only ones. And but you know, hopefully people wake up on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
And but really it's up to us, you know. And sometimes you got to stand up to a bully to get him off your back. So
Well done. Well said, man. So let's go ahead and play a snippet of Uproar.
Without question, is a war on black history. But I believe that war on black history is a symptom of a much larger war. And that is a war against the opportunity for African people to resurrect themselves.
My nigga DK.
War.
Get him, God.
Do it, y'all. Getting my family to higher ground. Shit loaded and cocked, ready to fire rounds. Putting off working to liberate entire towns. If it's about nation building, damn, write them down. Devils unrestrained, peep how they bring the pain. Fuck the shame, homie, this is Hunger Games. Only the tough remain, sustain to go to war. History repeats itself, we've seen it all before. But how we gonna watch the replay and not respond? Maybe not enough aware, we're ringing alarms. Heat gonna have to blow, knock them down, whack-a-mole. I'm about having dough, homie, 60 racks a show. Strategize with the earnings as I earn money. Apply everything I'm learning, so learn from me. The speak that sat by the door left the building. Headed right back to the block to school the
Remove
children.
the rose-colored glasses to stare at the fascists out to ruin the revival of the sun, moon, star. Disrespect these bastards, take them back to classes.
All right, so that was Uproar. A little snippet for you guys. Ern, the only thing I think was missing from that track is having my man Seven the Panther on there. I think he would have been perfect for it.
yeah, yes indeed, man. The Panther, you know, to tell you the truth, it was a lot of other cats I wanted to reach out to, you know, like Panther and Superstition, but I try to keep it a small project and not make it lengthy because it's been a minute since I put something out. But hey, who knows? You know, on Uproar Part 2, you know, we can make it happen. You know,
Man, the remix, huh?
exactly. So I'm leaving the option on the table for anybody that I didn't incorporate on this one for the next one, or you know, especially like Seven and Superstition and P Batters and some other cats. Big Enough from Aiden, he's doing marvelous things. You know, around here, I would love to link up with more cats and you know, make some good music.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and kind of enter into the more spiritual and a more uplifting track on the album. This one's called Good Space. Good Space features Chris White, yourself, J-Lock, and Chris Houston.
That's right.
I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with J-Lock's work. I definitely know why you put him on the track.
Indeed.
It was good to hear Chris White and Chris Houston. I'm not sure which one did the singing, but I'm sure you'll tell us that. But
Right.
What was the inspiration there for Good Space, and how did you come about getting the rest of the guys on that album? On that
Okay.
track?
Well, Good Space was the last song, and I decided I was going to be on the song, and listening to the sample, the concept of being at a happy place in my life, I felt real good. I felt positive. Things were going right, and I felt like I was in a good place, a good space. And when I heard that beat, it just spoke to me. It spoke to that spirit, and I said, "This is kind of spiritual." And I was thinking of some people that I could put on this song, and without really thinking of it, instantly I thought about J-Lock with his skills and him being a Christian, and being a member of Grassroots from back in the day. And my man, Chris White, from Kinston, he's a Christian rapper, but he got some history and stuff that he's put out in the past. I've been knowing about him from back in the day. He had a cassette tape out. He was called Creme de la Creme, had the song called Ill Type of Something. And I remember never met him, but I still got his cassette. Someone gave me his tape and I heard it, and I said, where's this cat from? And they said, Kinston. I said, wow, he's just around the corner. I'm thinking, again, we the only ill cats around here, but never met him. As years progress, still into this, still developing. He's doing the same thing. Now, with technology and more out here, I finally encountered him at a Christian event. And I'm like, oh, you Chris White. He's like, oh, you Ern-Money. And we just always had a respect. He's always heard about me, and I always heard about him. So, but took down our numbers and just kept in touch. So, again, when I had the song, I was thinking, first J-Lock came to mind. Then I said, you know what? It'd be nice to put Chris Houston and Chris White on this. And, and they both got the same name, Chris. Chris White is the rapper, the general. And Chris Houston is a friend I went to college with at WCU. He's now a pastor. He's a professional singer. He's wrote a book. Matter of fact, he's wrote this book. Get your hands on this. Nice. Male to Man to Mentor by Chris Houston. And I reached out to him because I knew, we got a connection from WCU, and I know it's been years and we grown now, and plus he does Christian music, and I do secular music, but this was like a spiritual song to me. It had more of a Christian vibe to it. So I called him up and I said, Chris, I got this song that I think it deserves you on it. And he said, well, send it to me, and asked me what was the concept. And I said, it's called Good Space. He said, well, what does that mean? I said, I'm in a good space, spiritual space, a good place in my life where everything's right, despite what's going on in the world, despite Donald Trump being our president, despite all the ills and injustices. Yeah. When I sit down, my world doesn't dictate the world that's out there. My world is perfect. So, right. And I said, bring your thing to it and bring your spirit. This is a positive song. It's a spiritual song. Yeah. He did his thing. Yeah. They all did the thing.
Definitely, man. It's one of my favorite tracks on the album, man. It's definitely should touch some people in their heart, man. Hopefully everybody can relate.
Right. And show everybody I'm not just heathen either,
No, definitely, man. Definitely not. I mean, Ern's got. We have always known that you have a good heart, No doubt. And it's good to see that you're in a good space.
Exactly.
So, the first single on the album is called "Yeah." I think from people who have kind of heard some of the songs already. Mm-hmm. This was one of the ones where, a lot of people were saying this is one of their favorites.
Right.
Right. And that was one I listened to, and it's definitely a song that grew on me. Mm-hmm. And, that, yeah, that part, it just kind of just sticks in your head, man,
Kind of hypnotic.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, but before we go into let's go ahead and give them a snippet for Good Space.
No doubt.
All right.
It's been years in the making, so baby I'ma take my time, let the sauce marinate and saturate these lines. They haven't heard from me asking is Chris okay? Ern, tell him I've been sick with the flow, he's fine, nothing sweet except these 8 Twix, do the math money. Ern, I think this beat might need a bath, hit it, that funky rhythm got me feeling like that golden era cash flow. Creme de la creme, if you don't know you better ask bro, I'm known for taking MCs out like garbage with they trash flow, ain't even got the engine to run with us but they gas though. My soldiers about to eat like in the challenge with my last foe, when I be became a man, let's say I put away the Hasbro. In your face, Richard Sherman is like, why you mad, bro? Nothing to play with. I got the game in a lasso. And lyrically, I'm certified to leave you with a tag toe. Texas Pete, fire emoji, flaming Tabasco. Let me chill, Earn, that's the 16 you asked for. A good place to dip, but if you need me, I have more.
Take me to that place. You gotta take me to the place. That good space. That good space. You know it. Where the past is the past and new life is seen. Counting every single blessing. Yo, I'm in it. Yeah. You know it. Come on.
Yo, I'm in the good space, I'm loving the day. Got a taste for God's grace, got no time to waste, no dilly-dally. Tally my blessings down the alley. Yea, do I walk through the valley, the shadow of death, I fear no evil. Got love for my people, the original Hebrew. Young and feeble, so hit the breather button. No repercussions, nothing to it but to do it, no deep discussion. Tell the people something, action, emotion, silence, commotion. Let work speak for itself, then apply devotion. Like lotion, rubber than a circle of motion. Emotion news out like potion. Second that notion, coasting for coast to coast. Toast to the most, bros came through when I proposed. Chris White, they like Chris Houston, the pros. They let me know I'm in a good place for show. I can feel it in my soul.
You gotta take me to the place. That good space.
Okay, yeah, so that was good space. I like that, Ern. It has like a little island feel to it. I can kind of see myself on the beach, you know, a perfect day.
No.
The sun is out, man. Oh man, I'm gonna have to take that down to the beach this summer with me. So I originally started talking about forgot to play Good Space. So coming back to song that features Salah Dollar and Divine Strength.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, it's one of the songs that a lot of people were liking. Tell us a little bit about and how that song came about.
Well, is the first single from the album Nuclear Fan, and you said that one's getting a response, you know, that required that this be the single. And when I heard that beat again, these were samples. None of the songs that's on this album was created now. These are songs, ideas that's been sitting around for years, and just concepts that I had or that I've done for other people that they necessarily didn't have an idea for. So I just, when I came up with this idea, I said I'm gonna listen to everything that I got, and if I don't find nothing that moves me, then I'll create something new. But if I find something that sounds like it represented what I wanted people to hear now, then so be it. And that was one of the songs. And as soon as I heard that, with that flavor and that soul and that grit, I asked myself, who did I want to hear on that? And any of the artists that I used to record could have killed that. You know, I had friends that said, that's the one, I want that one. But I was like, no, I know you can rhyme to this, but as a fan, who do I want to hear? And I thought Solid Dollar, I thought Divine Strength, and I knew they would bring that energy, and it would just marry and marinate in your ear. And Solid did exactly what I thought. It was magic. So that was pretty much the process.
Ooh, okay, cool. Well, let's let people hear it, man. Let's go ahead and give them a snippet of it.
Okay.
Ern-Money. Yeah. Producer extraordinaire. Don't call it a comeback. Ern-Money sent me the drum track. He said when I'm done, he gon' bump that. I know that they want that. And by the time you mix and you dump that, and they hear the track, they gon' jump back. 2 thumbs up, take your thumbs back. These niggas know where I'm from, Jack. I won all the cake, had the crumbs, Jack. Been gone for a while off the rap scene. I just want my fun back. Y'all see what I did to this one track? It's basic, just face it. How your heart races to keep up the pace. You probably need pacemakers. Lines sharper than barbers that use straight weight. My attributes, intelligence, crazy and courageous. See you in the stage that was caged. make them now to understand the complex codes of the matrix. Just like Frito, goddamn I must be Neo. Hot like Toledo when I shoot these torpedoes. When I'm at the line, it's easy like shooting free throws. Now tell me where all the trees go. Solid dollar.
Y'all ready for this? In the ranks, they tryna move up. Y'all ready for this?
Yo, you dog food, throwing up this set, but got set up. Spit 16, got off the.
Man, I picture myself in the car like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Looking at me like, what's up, man? Yeah. What's
That's
up,
right.
man? I see you. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's it just sticks with you, man. Sticks in your head.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, man. So, who are you hoping to reach with Nuclear Fam? Are you know, is this for your hip hop heads? You want to reach people you've never reached before? What's kind of like your goals with it?
Pretty much all the above. You know, especially, you know, of course, the hip hop heads, you know, the people that appreciate true, original, underground, hardcore hip hop. You know, because this is hip hop music at its rarest form. I wouldn't even call it old school because to me, something old is something you've already heard. All this stuff that we generating is new school. This is new hip hop done with a principle of the past. You know, as far as approaching. You know, with no disrespect or this the trap music. You know, because I think it's fabulous. There's a lot of cats I listen to. You know, I love what the young folks are doing, and I can even incorporate that sound into my music. But you know, that's not my style per se of how I approach music. And my approach is kind of it harps on the 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 way the elders put it together. You know, the before the internet, before computers, when you had to use your mind to figure out what a mixer does with a record. You know what I'm saying? There was no computer to do that. That was a Grandmaster Flash came up with the concept of a mixer. So I'm excited with concepts like that, you know, man versus machine. So this again, back to your question, this is for everyone, man. No matter the age, gender, the race, religion, you'll be able to appreciate the sounds alone and the heart. You'll feel the energy, you'll feel the spirit. You know, like you said, good space sounds like you in the Caribbeans, like you on the island. It just puts you in that mood. You know, the songs, like hard work. You get an adrenaline, and you feel like hype, and you feel like, yeah, this I got to put this work in. Or uproar is calling you to get your stuff together. It's calling you to be alert, to be aware, conscientious. So these songs speak to all the human emotions, you know. So basically, all the above.
Cool. So what are some of the artists that you would like to work with that you've never worked with? I mean, field is open. You know,
Okay.
Everybody's beating down your door, and you can pick who you want to work with.
Okay. Well, right here in my backyard, North Carolina, of course, Rhapsody, J. Cole, and you know, it's some cats from the West Coast, Kendrick Lamar, Ross Koss, Dilate Peoples, you know, and then you got Royce the 5'9", Pharoah Monch, of course, and now on a producer level, hey, you got Large Professor, you know, I keep it old school, 45 King, Diamond D, Pete Rock, throw Ninth Wonder in there, of course, Dr. Dre, of course,
that's a superstar album right there.
right. And I would say Alchemist, I would say Apollo Brown. You know, these are cats I listen to as fans, and I think of, man, you know, Kanye West. Throw Kanye West in there, big influence.
Yeah.
And they inspired me, my creative juices, and I always think, you know, when I get to that level, what could I do with some of my favorites? And you know, it just would be an honor and a privilege. And that's when, you know, I think I'll be on that echelon level.
Cool, cool. So, where can people download the album, and when will it be released?
Well, definitely by the time you get through editing, should be on Bandcamp, and eventually I plan on having it on distributed on all the other social networks. You know, iTunes, Google Plus, Amazon, um, uh, Spotify, you know, to name a few. And once I get that ball rolling, people can get their hands on it. But definitely, initially, it's going to be on Bandcamp, the singles, and the actual album. That'll be instant, where people can get their hands on it. And they can find me at Ern-Money Day One on Instagram and Ern-Money Day One on Twitter. And then on Facebook, music page, just Ern-Money. And to help find that link, if you put in Ern-Money Productions, you'll see Ern-Money, and I have the Nuclear Fan picture, so you'll identify who I am. I think there's some other people that's referring to themselves as Ern-Money, but that's not me.
That's not
you. If you don't see Ern-Money Productions underneath, then I don't know what Ern-Money you encounter.
So what's next for Ern-Money, man? Let's go ahead and finish this out. So let us know what's next for you.
Well, right after this, I got a solo project I'm working on with just me, and it's 18 songs I already got lined up, production, titles, and everything, and then I got a personal album I'm gonna put together with nothing but actually blood relatives, you know, my actual family, and I'm thinking about titling this "The Immediate Family," you know, with like my brother, cousins, my daughter, nephews, nieces, anybody that's blood related to me. I want to put out a almost like a family album of hip hop. And then of course Howard Bronson, his project Gray Matters. I'm producing on, working on maybe two songs he got left for that project. And then right after that, the International Mission, which includes some other production and ideas from other people. And then UK Jabbar still pushing his album Islam Part 2, and I'm sure he's going to be putting together body of works, because he's a brother that never runs out of ideas. And my man Plague On, you know, he's going to be in the mix, the regular crew, Trial, Divine Strength.
Yeah.
You know, you're all working on projects.
Yeah.
Mars Adams, you know, it's a continuous process.
Okay.
So
So you got a lot on your plate there, man. You're gonna be busy. You're gonna be in that studio all day, all night, man.
busy all the time. You know how we do. We never stop. It's never. They say the city never sleeps. I say the money never sleeps.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Make that money, man. Make that good music, man. Do what you love, you know.
Appreciate it. Man.
So, Ern, we wish you much success for the project, man. I'm glad it's complete. I'm glad it's in its finished stage, and now it's come out to be released to the masses. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and get that album. I mean, Ern is a well-respected cat in this industry, and you're going to get quality music. You're going to get quality lyrics. You're going to get quality production. So y'all make sure y'all get that. All right?
Thanks. I salute you, and I like what you're doing. It's good to have you back on the scene. You know, I feel like we back in the underground pound days again, man.
Yeah.
So thank you for what you're doing, E, and you know, good looking, bro.
No doubt, man. We keep pushing each other, right?
Indeed, fam. And right quick, E, I want to say rest in peace to my brother Amazon Don, and rest in peace to Johnny Martin, aka .9. Cal Graham, of course, was Amazon Don. Those two brothers that's here in the spirit. Even though they gone, they still involved, you know, and shout outs to them and to the afterlife.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, man. All right, that's how we do. All right. So, guys, there it is. That was the interview with Ern-Money. And guys, remember, whatever you want to do in life, just ask God for strength and keep pushing. And I'm out. Peace.
Peace.